It's that time again. Time for me to read you another chapter of New Moon. We are on chapter 10, which is titled The Meadow. This chapter starts out with Jacob didn't call. She calls Jacob's house a bunch of times and Billy tells her pretty much to stop calling. She makes Charlie do her dirty work for her, asking other people in the Quileute tribe if they've seen Jacob. Says that Jake has mono, and tells Bella that Billy said no visitors. Charlie raised one eyebrow. Now don't you go making a pest of yourself, Bells. That must be pretty hard. Bella doesn't believe Charlie, or Harry Clearwater, or Billy that Jake has mono. Why did I feel so suspicious? Written in italics. Like I didn't believe Billy's story. I was being silly, probably. Bella goes on to WebMD and types in mononucleosis. WebMD is giving her a lot of information. She stops to the part where it says mono could last more than a month. But Billy couldn't enforce the no visitors thing that long. Of course not. Jake would go crazy stuck in bed that long without anyone to talk to. I'd give Billy a week, I decided, before I got pushy. You haven't been pushy? You've called their house like 100 times. You've had Charlie do spy work for you. Kinda pushy. There's a space, and the next sentence says, a week was long. Also in italics.
How many O's?
1. This is the episode of my sister talking in the background making jokes. By Wednesday, I was sure I wasn't going to live till Saturday. But obviously she does, because there's this much more in the book. Without Jacob, and my adrenaline and my distractions, everything I'd been repressing started creeping up on me. The dreams got hard again. I could no longer see the end coming. Just the horrible nothingness. Sometimes Sam Yulee was there watching me again. Creep. I paid him no attention. Well, obviously you paid him some attention, otherwise you wouldn't notice he was there. It didn't stop me from screaming myself awake, night after night. The hole in my chest was worse than ever. I thought that I'd been getting it under control, but I found myself hunched over day after day, clutching my sides together and gasping for air. I've never seen anybody walking around and all of a sudden... Seriously? She's so pathetic. I was relieved beyond measure the morning I woke up, screaming of course, and remembered that it was Saturday. Today I could call Jacob. Oh my God, sweet relief. Billy answered the phone. Bella's all, oh, yo, where Jake at? He went to Port Angeles, so I guess he really is better. Bella's all, yay, I'm so glad he doesn't have mono. And then instantly, like, next line, Jacob was better, but not well enough to call me. I was sitting home, missing him more every hour. I was lonely, worried, bored. Perforated? Bella Swan is perforated. Perforated. That is not an adjective one usually uses to describe a person. So, whenever you see a page with those lines on it, that means you can rip it out. That's now called a Bella Swan. I think my sister's going to sit with me and make jokes with me. This could be actually more entertaining for you. Alright, so this is my sister. She is entertaining. She's making all these dumb jokes that keep making me laugh while I'm trying to read. She's now going to sit here and make gestures and remarks and jokes. Charlie's fishing and with Harry Clearwater, and he's really worried about leaving Bella in her mopey state. He tells her to stay out of the woods. There's more bear trouble. Bear motion. Bella says that she was much more upset by the situation with Jacob than the possibility of being eaten by a bear. I could drive to La Push and get my motorcycle, an appealing thought, but for one minor problem. Who is going to drive me to the emergency room? So she decides that she's going to look for the meadow again, all by herself. She gets lost. Shocker. The sense of unease grew stronger the deeper I got into the trees. Breathing started to get more difficult. Not because of exertion, but because I was having trouble with that stupid hole in my chest again. I kept my arms tight around my torso. As she's walking around the woods,
Like a straitjacket.
she gets lost again. I was getting better at this bushwhacking thing. She finds the meadow. It was in the same place. Well, I hope it was. It was the same place, but it didn't hold what I had been searching for. What was the point of going any farther? Uh-oh. The meadow was empty of atmosphere, empty of everything, just like everywhere else, just like the nightmares. Ugh! Ugh! Oh, how lucky that I was alone! This whole chapter she's been complaining about being alone, now she's happy to be alone. Make up your mind. Someone else is there. Laurent! I cried in surprised pleasure. It was impossible how exactly the same Laurent looked.
You vampire.
Next sentence is, I suppose it was very silly and human to expect some kind of change in the last year. Bella, he asked. You remember, I smiled. It was ridiculous that I should be so elated because a vampire knew my name.
Lots of vampires know your name, Bella.
Good vampires. Oh, she forced the name Cullens out. Laurent asks if they visit often. Lie. The beautiful velvet voice whispered anxiously from my memory. Here we go again. I started at the sound of his voice, but it should not have surprised me. The voice tells her she needs to lie to Laurent because he wants to eat her. Laurent's about to kill her. I tensed for the spring, my eyes squinting as I cringed away, and the sound of Edward's furious roar echoed distantly in the back of my head. Edward, Edward, Edward. I was going to die. Edward, I love you.
Edward, Edward, Edward.
I love you. We know. Laurent turns around to look at something. Then I saw it. A huge black shape eased out of the trees, quiet as a shadow, and stalked deliberately toward the vampire. It was enormous. The bear? But it's not a bear, she says. That's what it says. The bear. Only it wasn't a bear. The big monster comes out and starts to go for Laurent. I gave an involuntary gasp and jumped back, which was the stupidest thing I could have done. So nothing happens to her. Laurent runs away. The wolves chase him. Oh, they're wolves now. Yes, they're wolves now. And then I was alone again. My knees buckled under me, and I fell onto my hands, sobs building in my throat. Oh no. I couldn't move at first. I thought she just moved. I fell onto my hands. I couldn't move at first. I didn't know how to get back to my feet. Okay. I scrambled to my feet. I thought she couldn't move. The next few hours were agony. The call of a jaybird made me leap back and fall into a thick stand of young spruce trees, scraping up my arms and tangling my hair with sap. The sudden rush of a squirrel up a hemlock made me scream so loud it hurt my own ears. The sudden rush of a squirrel. She gets home and Charlie's already there. I thought I asked you to stay out of the forest, Bella says to him. I saw the bear. It's not a bear, though. Here we go again. It's some kind of wolf, and there are 5 of them. Bella decides she's going to go to bed because she's tired. I paused to check the locks again before I went to my room.
What?
The next sentence. It was a silly thing to do.
Yes. Yes, Bella.
Just says, it was a silly thing to do.
Wait, check the locks on what? Is it the front door?
I guess so. It doesn't specify.
Stop being so vague, Bella.
I lay down on my bed, but I was shaking too hard to hope for sleep. The tremors rocked me until my teeth chattered. To calm myself, I fantasized the impossible. She imagined the big wolves catching up to Laurent and massacring the indestructible immortal. In my imagination, Victoria's eyes were black with thirst. Her red hair was brilliant as fire. Laurent's words repeated in my head. If you knew what she had planned for you. I pressed my fist against my mouth to keep from screaming.
I pressed my fist against my mouth to keep from screaming.
End of chapter. Recap?
Recap.
Recap.
What
Alright.
happened?
I have no idea.
Forget.
Jacob might have mono. WebMD confirms he does not.
Bella gets better at bushwhacking. Bella finds the meadow and Laurent shows up. And he tries to eat her.
No, no, no.
But then the wolves come and chase him away. Bella goes home and she does some silly things. And she dreams about second-degree murder.
End of chapter 10. Damn it, Charlotte! Damn it, Charlotte! Damn it, Charlotte!